Chucky, can you take us through that little run there you had in the first half, and then that last one especially looked really difficult there. Just take us through what was going through your mind and just how it felt to have the stadium going up like that.
Just going to the game, we had two special occasions tonight. One, my boy Trey, he was here tonight, so we knew we had to come put on a show. And second, it was my girl's birthday, and her family's in town too for one of the first Cardinal games. So I just was locked in tonight, and we knew that we had to put on a show tonight.
Terrence, have you ever seen anything like that before?
Nah, I was just talking about that. I've probably never seen nobody like get that hot and like go on like a little run like that, like by himself. That kind of opened up the game, and at times we were struggling on offensively. So him coming out doing that just boosted us and got us over the hump.
For both you guys, just kind of talk about these last three games. It's been a fight. It's been something where it's come down to the last, several possessions. What's going through you guys' mind after the last two games that think you may have helped you tonight?
We know that it's a target on our back, and we just gotta accept that, and we have. Watching film on guys, we don't underestimate guys. So going into the game, we're respecting our opponent, and we know that they're going to give us our best shot, and that's what we need late in the year going to the ACC tournament and March Madness if we're trying to make a Final Four Elite Eight run. So we need to be tested just to get comfortable in that last war and be able to come out on top.
Chucky, getting back to your blitz there, were you calling for the ball or people just recognizing you're hot, and what was your mindset? I mean,
It's both. My teammates did a great job finding me, creating a shot for me to get open. And as soon as I felt a couple go in, the rim just feels like it's getting more open. And it just feels like the ocean at that point. I was just throwing it up there. And my teammates did my teammates did a great job finding me, creating shots for me. And, a lot of it's on them. They were able to free me up for some shots, and I was able to knock them down.
have you ever had a stretch like that?
I have my sophomore year in the NIT versus North Texas in the first half.
What was that? I mean, six in a row?
I think I was 5 for 5. I think I hit 5 in a row, something like that. Yeah, 6 in a row is crazy. I won't lie.
Terrence, so Trey was at his first game. What's that like for you? I'm sure. I mean, you've been going through new stuff for the last couple weeks. This is another new one, and do you have some headphones for him? Because I think it got a little loud.
Yeah, it was great. For him to just hear my name called after I do something out there, and he wasn't physically in there, but he's in one of these rooms back here. I'll try to go find him, but I'm finna go find him after this and see where he at. But it's just been great experience. Just know that someone's looking up to me, which is he's my flesh and blood. So it's just been great. I come home after practice and stuff and just be able to hold him and stuff. He just made my days just better. And even when I'm down, I know I can't really be down because I got someone depending on me.
Yeah, Chucky, after you made those 4 in a row, they called the timeout, and then obviously you came back and hit the other 2. Did you just feel like that you were able to stay hot through that little stretch of downtime? And, did you come back out on the court thinking that you were going to keep shooting threes?
Yeah, but we went to the huddle, and my teammates were talking about other ways to keep finding me for open shots. I was able to knock down 2 more, but in the second half, I knew they were going to come out a little stronger, try to take away the 3. So my teammates did a great job. Fat did a great job taking down in the second half, and me and him were just both able to get downhill and just make plays down the stretch.
For both of you guys, obviously the environment today was wild, and Chucky, when you had that string of threes going through, it was as loud as it could get. I guess finishing the year right here with 2 more games before going into the ACC tournament, is that helpful for you guys to be able to have momentum just from your fan base to carry you into that, and then, of course, into the NCAA tournament as well?
Yeah, 100%. The fan base was so great tonight. We felt that energy it was like the very first game, the Tennessee game, It was one of those energy games, so we knew we couldn't lose tonight. We had to dig deep and just try to make plays and win the game. And, going down the stretch in March, that's what we're going to need. We're going to need the love from fan base, the support, because we plan on playing a long time in March and going into April. So buckle up.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I probably played in 1 million games in my career, and I think that was the best I've ever experienced, just playing into a game and coming out there in that first warm up, and you see everybody already coming in, and you just feel that energy. And And we got to give a big shout out to the crowd because we've been in that situation like on the road. We never really had this situation here. And like Chucky said, we're going to need that fan base to travel with us around so we can be able to keep playing, like you said, all the way to April.
In the second half, you didn't even take a three, but you had some key drives. You made a free throws that put your team ahead, a driving layup put your team ahead. What do you take more pride in, making those winning plays or getting on a 6-for-6 stretch like that?
Just take more pride in winning the game. Whatever my team needs me to do, I'm going to do it. I know this is the same with my guy on the right here. Whether it's a good game or a bad game individually, we're happy we won because at the end of the day, that's a team goal. That's the main goal, is to win. And just find a way, other ways to just win games, that's what we really want to do, especially if we want to make it down the road in March. We're going to have to find ways to win the games.
Brooks, last two.
Terrence, coaches, when he's talked about this run you guys have been on, he's attributed it a lot to defense and a lot to your defensive improvement. What kinds of things have you focused on that have allowed you to become a better defensive player?
Really just knowing what guys do, studying more of the game and the opponent that we're about to go against. I feel like I wasn't doing that at the mid-major level, so I made that transition here, and I knew I had to really study guys and be ready for their best tendencies and stuff. And then once I started doing that, I started being able to guard better because I'm already knowing what they're gonna do. And Javon and Chucky already been good defenders at their last school, so playing with those guys in practice and seeing what they do on the defense end just makes you want to, play defense. So I most definitely give a shout out to them and the coaching staff for putting me in those positions to show that I can guard too.
Last two, Russ and Brooks.
Chucky, were you aware at all toward the end how many points you had? And, of course, you gave up the ball. You could have had a layup.
Yeah, I was aware, but it's just the type of player I am. I don't really care about scoring the most points. I seen Vaughn coming down, and Vaughn jumps higher than I do. So I wanted to just send off the game with a bang, and I knew Vaughn was going to come down and bang it.
Yeah, Chucky, you talked about at the postseason. Asked this question to Terrence after the game Tuesday in Virginia Tech. Does it feel better maybe sometimes to you guys had some of those dominant wins, but does it feel good now as you're getting closer to March to kind of have some of these tougher games and to be able to feel like you have these moments where you're able to pull away when it's getting close down the stretch?
Yeah, any team win like that, when it gets to winning time and we come out on top, it's great for us. It shows a great sign. I think at Virginia Tech we kind of struggled there in winning time. We didn't close the gap, and we just gotta find ways to be able to keep our foot on the gas, and I feel like we did that tonight.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
I have some special guests here, as you know. Been away for a long time in the Carolinas for the majority of my career, but being back here in Louisville, very close to Cincinnati, I think season tickets spiked with all the Kelsey family, and I've bunch of my uncles and cousins and things like that here, so I invited them in to this. But I'm proud of our guys. I think the first thing I want to say is the atmosphere was phenomenal. It was phenomenal, and I told our guys, you've earned that. They've worked their butt off, and they're having a phenomenal season. And we talk about how this team, I think, reflects the character, the toughness, the grit of the city of Louisville, and I think our fan base sees that. And to come out the way they did tonight, I mean, that was a big time college basketball atmosphere. I give our marketing staff a lot of credit for the idea to come up with the stripe out. We challenged the fan base. They were unbelievably coachable, and they followed through, and the stripe out was awesome. I thought our student body was terrific. They made a major impact in the game, the students and the fan base. It was special tonight. I had goosebumps when I walked out, and they were a major factor in the game. I got a lot of respect for Pitt, for Jeff. I think their backcourt is as talented as any in our conference. They're a handful to deal with. I thought the last two medias, the last 8 minutes of the game, I love when I get in those huddles and I don't have to say anything. Our leaders, our upperclassmen, which is everybody on our team, was already saying the things that I was going to say. It was going to come down to getting stops and getting big rebounds, and I think they were 2 for 15, the last 17 field goal attempts. A couple of them we had some missed assignments and they just missed open looks, but overall our guys buckled down, got a big stop. I mean, obviously Chucky had a game that he's going to tell his grandchildren about. That stretch of 4 minutes before half was as amazing of point guard play. Kind of looked like Steph Curry out there. Even the one after the whistle, he kind of threw up and it went in. I played basketball my whole life, and I've never been in a zone like that. I struggled to score in an empty gym, and they say when the basket looks like the ocean, it's really fun to play that way, and I don't know what that's like, but Chucky was feeling it that way tonight. I thought it was great to have Terrence Edwards III, Trey, Fat's newborn son, at his first college basketball game tonight. That was awesome. Noah got his 1,000th point. James Scott, 4 steals, had a big block down the stretch. It was just a really good team effort and unbelievable atmosphere.
No questions from the media for Coach Kelsey. Raise your hand. We'll get a microphone to you. Go ahead, Mark.
On that run with Chucky, you didn't have the lead that maybe a lot of teams might have had because they answered so often. What was the conversation in the second half when they did take the lead and you kind of got it back together?
It's just 0-0. That's what we always say when we get to those media timeouts, 0-0. It's about how you respond. We were facing some adversity. We didn't play the cleanest offensive game in the world. I mean, obviously Chucky was magical. But, we just reset, especially in that last 8 minutes. We call it winning time. We said we got to buckle down and get stops and rebounds. But no matter what's going on in the game, if we're on a big run or if we're getting scored on and we got to correct some things and clean some stuff up, it's always 0-0. And we just try to stay consistent. We're not going to do something different throughout the course of the game. We're going to be the same and just get back to our principles.
Coach, you talked about the environment. You get to close out the regular season with 2 more games against the West Coast ACC teams. Just to be able to have this fan base behind you as you go into the ACC tournament and eventually March Madness as well.
Yeah.
How special is this?
Yeah, well, as you guys know, I don't talk about any of that. The only thing we're going to talk about is the next one we play on Wednesday. I'm not worried about the game after that. I'm sure not worried about the conference tournament, the NCAA tournament. You guys know me well enough that it's the next stinking thing, and that's all we worry about. But you're right. You feel it in the city. The city's buzzing. Everybody told me about, night game Saturday, look out. We're proud to have an impact in downtown in this city because of the excitement that's come back, and people are flooding into the restaurants and the bars, and they were there all day having a great time, and maybe add a little bit of juice to the game tonight. But you feel it. You feel it when you go around town. People are excited, and the town's buzzing about Louisville basketball, and it's really, really cool. But, guys have a recovery day tomorrow. We get back after it on Wednesday, and we'll try to have the greatest practice in the history of our program on Monday.
Coach, what does it say about Chucky? He hits the 6, the 7 when he got fouled, and then he doesn't even take one in the second half. Obviously, they're trying to take it away from him, but I mean, he doesn't. And then he has the huge assist down the stretch at the end of the game. He's got what could be a layup, and he passes it to Javon. I mean, just kind of the ultimate team player.
Special. That list came out, whatever it is, the Kuzi Award or whatever it was, and Chucky's not on it, right?
Yeah, the 10.
He's not on it. You watch that game tonight, you tell me he's not one of the top 10 point guards in the United States of America. That's a freaking joke. He's special. He's special. We got a special group. It's his makeup. You talked about his selflessness. Like, he could have made that last layup and had 39. He gave it to Javon. We draw something up for him coming out of half because he had like 1 million points, and he goes, man, they're going to be draped all over me. Put Fat in that position. They'll follow me off the exit screen. They'll open up James for the lob. That's special, And we got a group of guys like that. They're so much fun to coach. They're about winning. They're not about their accolades or statistics, and that's what makes them great.
Other questions for Coach Kelsey?
Where does that 6-3 by Chucky rank for you in terms of top moments so far, just in terms of the crowd noise and that?
It was up there, man. The place went crazy. Those Yum roars. I talked about, I think, one of my first press conferences, like the Augusta roar, the Tiger roar that you hear at Augusta National. Well, there's a different decibel level that it hits here when things get crazy, and it was that way. It was that way tonight. I'm real blessed because we have 2 true point guards, and you remember Chucky was hurt and missed a game recently, and Fat had like 27 and 10. You got 2 closers, and we got a bunch of closers, but I thought Fat was really good tonight. Made some huge buckets when we really, really needed him. And I've talked many times to you guys about the improvement in his defense ever since the start of conference play. I think he's been one of the better defensive guards in the whole conference.
And then just what about your defense? So you mentioned just Pitt, I think, made 2 of their last 13 or 15 shots. What about your defense down the stretch? Really kind of changed the game in a lot of ways.
Yeah, that's what closed out the game for sure. Number 15's a dynamic guard. He puts fouls on you. He's as fast and quick twitch as any guard we're going to play against. And he's got this uncanny knack when he gets to the rim. And he'll like if you come over second row, like James was coming over to try to block his shots, he's got this ability like at the last second to go boom and fire that thing for threes. And we call it Matrix, right? So you've seen the movie The Matrix, like when the bullets are flying over the guy's head and they watch it. Like, well, he throws these passes that if you ball watch, he's going to find that dude. And they got too many open looks off that. And we actually got lucky a couple times that they missed some of those open looks. But we knew it was going to come to a one-on-one challenge because he's a terrific one-on-one player. He wants to go left, and you try everything in your power to keep him from going left, and he gets to his left somehow, some way. And but we start switching pick and rolls to not get 2 on the ball and get spread out. And then we needed everybody to sit down and guard and try to have a crowded floor, and I thought we did that. And then we had to go get the rebound. That was huge.
It's March, and these guys have played a lot of minutes this year for a lot of different reasons. But is there a philosophy between when you get late in the game of managing minutes to keep guys fresh there?
Well, I always mention my staff. It's like Brian Cloman in the last game made that little defensive adjustment at Virginia Tech, which kind of messed up their action by changing our matchup and putting James on the point guard. Mike Cassidy does a great job of kind of running our substitution patterns, and he studies it. And like Mike's brilliant. First of all, he's like, I have to add my SAT score ×2 to get to his. He's like the mad scientist, and he comes from the Australian Institute of Sport, which is a really, really cool place. But everything's got a graphic and a spreadsheet, and he gives me this like real intricate thing the other day, and he's just like, I think if we can, and it's all, I just said, Mike, I can't follow this. Just tell me what you want to do. And he was like, we need to get Chucky and Fat, and really all 4 of those guys, one more sub early in the second half so that we can get to winning time, and then those guys can just go. And I said, that sounds good to me, but, call those guys and get their buy-in on it. So he talked to all those guys last night. So Chucky and all those guys still probably played right about the same minutes, but I thought his ability to kind of orchestrate some of our subs to keep our guys fresh were really good, because our depth, obviously, with our injuries and those things like that, we're not the deepest team in the world. So you don't have to be the smartest one in the room, but you better own the smartest room, and I got a great staff around me.
You've talked over and over about the defensive improvement, and Terrence specifically. He said he watches film, pays more attention to the scouting report. What kinds of things do you see that he's doing better that's making him a great defensive player?
No, first of all, it's a special team in that regard. Their attention to detail and scouting is crazy. Crazy. How in tune they are in film, their voices, how they speak up, the questions they ask. Brian Cloman's our defensive coordinator, and he'll tell me, I got this many texts last night, guys asking questions. We had a quicker turnaround. Well, we gave them off one day, and we practiced 2, and we did a lot of our normal prep. But one of the things we didn't do as a team was personnel, and that's because of a bunch of different reasons. And the personnel is where we sit down, we go through all their bios. And I said, fellas, to save you some time and get you out of here, and you guys need to watch the personnel on your own tonight, then I want you to text Cloman, afterwards. And so Chloe hits me later, and he goes, it was like they all hit me within 2 hours, and most of them ask questions. They just really care. They're very intentional about the details, scouting report, the schematics of the game, the adjustments we make. That's what's so much fun about coaching a team with such a basketball IQ, and that's very mature, and this team is surely that.
Coach, it was a very physical game. I mean, it was tough.
Yeah.
And you had 2 guys up here, 2 of your stars, and they're not burly, big, strong guys, but it seems like everybody on your team gives and takes with the other team, what has to happen. And you're saving minutes, but they were kind of looked like they were getting a go at the end.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Skip Prosser used to say it's not how big you are, it's how big you play. And my mother always reminded me, because I'm 5'0", 100 and nothing, and I would always play against bigger people, and she would always say it's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. So even though we might not be the biggest or the burliest, we got some dogs that fight and they compete and they eat loose balls, and we're a gritty, tough team. I mean, our rebounding margins, we got out-rebounded tonight a little bit, but for the most part, on the offensive and defensive end, we always are a very, very good rebounding team, and we're tough. I go to battle with these guys any day.
All right, thank you all.
All right, thanks y'all.
Can't he give you the biggest? Of course you did.